What's going on, guys? Big Evil here, back in the bunker, and we're going to be doing story time with Evil. First episode, you guys hammered that yes button. You guys hammered that like button. So evidently that tells me you guys really want to hear my crazy life stories, shit that's happened to me throughout my life. So we're going to start today with a story. We're going to start off with three, but they all tie in with the same place. And what I'm about to tell you guys is actually a pretty creepy story. All three of these actually are. But this takes place in Lexington, Nebraska. I was born and raised in Lexington, Nebraska. I was born in Kearney, raised in Lexington. Up until I was 12, and then we moved to Iowa to be closer to my mom's family. And so anyway, there's this road in Lexington, Nebraska, and it's a dirt road, dirt gravel road, and it goes right past this place called Kennedy Steam Plant. And from what I know, it's no longer in use. It's basically only if they need it, more or less. It's on like a need to use basis now. But there's a dirt and gravel road that goes right past it that leads, to a creek where the water comes down off of it. And the first thing that ever happened when I was little, my grandfather, he would take me and teach me how to fish. We would go fishing all over Lexington. There was a pond right behind the museum, like a big old kind of pond thing. We could go fishing there, and he taught me how to fish there. And then we just go around like little areas and little ponds and lakes around the area. We would just go fishing. So my grandfather decided that we were going to go fish at this creek because he had heard that they had really good trout there, and they had really good, fish there. So we decided to go, and we were fishing out there. We left at 5, and we stayed there up until probably 9:30, just fishing all day, and we started noticing that there was like a smell, like a really bad smell, almost like dead fish. Dead fish and something else, but we couldn't really put our finger on it. And, I told him, and I said, Grandpa, it stinks. And he goes, yeah, it's pretty bad up here, isn't it? I said, yeah, it stinks, But, we didn't mind it. We just kept fishing because we kept getting bites. We'd, put the pole in the water and immediately we'd have a fish. And finally at about 9:30, we got done, and with me and my grandfather, he would catch them and throw them back. That was our thing. We always caught them and threw them back. And, he calls me over, and we get into his car, and we head home. We get home about 9:50-ish, just in time for the news. And they had a breaking news report. They found a dead body. Literally no less than 6 feet from where we were fishing. And my grandfather just was he just stopped dead in his tracks. And he looked at me and I looked at him and he goes, "We are never fishing there again." And my mom, she goes, "Isn't that where you guys were?" I said, and my grandfather said, "Yeah, that's where we were fishing." And it freaked us out. So the thing that we were smelling, the entire time was a dead body that had been missing for almost 2.5 weeks, and we didn't even know about it. So yeah, that's kind of like a weird story that's happened to me. But the second story about this road is there's a lot of claims that this road is haunted. And I believe this road is haunted because of what happened to my mom on this road. Now, there's a legend that on this road, and this road, it's literally just a narrow, not even 2 lanes. It's like a 1.5 lane road. But it's got drop-offs on either end, like steep drop-offs on either end, with just field here, field here, field here, and there's no turnoffs for like 3 miles. So the legend is that there was a horrible accident. There was somebody that drove a blue F-100 Ford pickup, like from back in the day, like a 78 or something, or even further back than that, like probably in the 50s or something. But the legend goes that um, you will periodically see this truck appear and disappear out of nowhere, and he will rev up his engine, go to the side of the car, and try to knock you off the road and wreck. My mom had to pick up my sister in another, like literally, in another town, and the only way that she could make it there to pick her up, the only route viable was on this Kennedy Steam Plant Road, and she did not want to do it, but had no choice. And it was about maybe 1 o'clock at night, and she's going down this road, and all of a sudden, out of literally thin air, out of nowhere, this blue truck appears right behind her. And she's like, what the hell, like not paying any attention. Revs up the engine, literally goes right up to the side, she's slowing down so she can let it pass. She stays at the side of my mom's van the entire time. And just slows down and gets right back behind her. And at this point, my mom's like, what the hell is going on? She's like, go the fuck around, And again, 5 minutes later, right next to the van, slows down and goes right back behind my mom's van. And at this point, my mom is freaking out. She's like, what the hell? About 10-15 minutes go by and it's gone. It disappears literally out of nowhere. And there's no turnoffs on this road, so my mom is legit freaking out. Excuse me. And anyway, she keeps going, doesn't really think anything of it. She's like, it's gone, thank God. She gets going about 10 more minutes, and the truck literally turns on its lights right behind her again, gets up beside her, stays there, keeps driving neck and neck with her, slows down and gets back behind her. That goes on for another 5 minutes, and the truck disappears. Don't even see it anymore. At this point, my mom just wants to get there and fucking pick up my sister, get home. She's done with this shit. As soon as she gets, to this intersection, because the only turn off, like I said, there's no turn off for 3 miles, and it's an intersection. She gets to the intersection, she sees that blue pickup on the other side waiting at the stop sign. She didn't even stop. She fucking gunned it and was gone. And I remember my mom telling me this story, when I was a little bit older, and I was like, holy shit. And my sister even confirmed that it was true because it happened to her too. And yeah, like that's some pretty crazy shit in my opinion. But that never happened. Like, I never experienced it, mostly because I was fucking terrified of that road ever since, they found the dead body where me and my grandfather were fishing. I never went on that road again. I was deathly terrified of that road. And I haven't been back to Nebraska in, God, shit. Well, I was 12 when we left, and I'm 26 now, so do the math. 14 years? Yeah, 14 years. 14 years I've never been back to Lexington, Nebraska. Don't really want to go back. A lot of bad memories there. But anyway, for the third and final story, there's a cemetery at the end of Kennedy Steam Plant. Probably why it's so fucking haunted. But anyway, there's a cemetery called Rob's Cemetery. And it was my mom, my aunt, my cousin, and there was another person in the car. I don't remember who the fourth one was. But it's another story that my mom told me about. And it's all true. I've spoken to my mom, my aunt, my cousin, everybody. They all said it was true. That is a true story. And my aunt, too, that, like, literally, I remember her saying that she had never been more terrified and more close to, quote-unquote, shitting her pants than this moment. They decided that they were going to go up to Rob's Cemetery. Now, the thing with Rob's Cemetery is that there's a myth, there's a hole inside of this mausoleum, in this crypt. And apparently the story goes is that Mr. Rob, the owner, the caretaker of this graveyard, had a daughter who had an incurable disease. And what they did was they put her in a coffin and they more or less buried her alive in this mausoleum, in this crypt. Yeah, and over time, she kept scratching and clawing her way out of this mausoleum, and it created a hole. But, decay and weathering and stuff like that could do it too. But I'm just going off with what I was told. But apparently, in this hole, if you stick your arm in, the story goes is that she will pull on your arm and try to pull you in through this hole. My mom and my aunt decided to be hot shit, and my aunt decided that she was going to go up there and she was going to put her arm in this hole. So they get in the car, and it's late at night. It's about maybe midnight, 1 a.m., and they're driving down this road, and they get to Rob's cemetery. And, they all get out of the car, and all of a sudden they walk up and they see the mausoleum, and it's just utterly fucking creepy, is what they said. It was just a weird feeling and a weird night. My mom and my aunt were telling me it was just the most eerie feeling, like somebody was watching you in that graveyard. Well, they get up to the mausoleum and they see the hole, and my mom's like, my aunt, her name was Angie, and she goes, well, Angie, there it is. Go do it, You're talking all that mad shit earlier, go do it. My mom is ornery, my mom's wild. Mama Evil's wild. Excuse me, but my aunt's like, I'm going. And she walks up to the mausoleum, she looks at it, and my mom and my cousin and the fourth person who I don't remember, I think it was a friend, I'm not entirely sure. But my aunt gets over there and she's looking at the hole, looking at the mausoleum, and everybody's like, are you gonna do it or are you gonna be a chicken? And my aunt turns around and fuck you, and rolls up her sleeve and sticks her arm in this hole. Not a minute goes by when she yells, screams bloody murder, and she can't get her arm out of the hole. Now this freaks out my mom, my cousin, and the fourth person who I believe was their friend. And, they all rush up and they grab my aunt around the waist and they're trying to pull her away, and she's literally stuck. Like, she can't get her arm out of the hole. And, they're pulling about maybe 5 minutes. They finally get her arm free. And at that time, they turn around and they see a figure standing off in the distance. And he's got a black trench coat on and he has a hat. And they're pretty sure that was Mr. Rob, who was the caretaker and the owner of the graveyard, to prevent, people from vandalizing or damaging or, doing any shit like that. To make sure that, they're not fucking around or doing anything they're not supposed to. So anyway, my mom turns around, they see this figure, and my aunt turns around and she's, clutching her arm like, what the fuck? And, and my mom claimed that day my aunt's face and my aunt's hair turned white as a ghost. And, they turn around and they look at this figure, and this figure starts slowly creeping and moving towards them. And at this moment, they're like, fuck this, and they haul ass, out of the graveyard, back to the car. They shut the doors, they lock the doors. I don't remember who's driving, but they, slam the key in the ignition, turn it on, and they bolted it out of there. And my aunt, my mom, and everybody asked, Angie, what happened? What's going on? Did something grab you? My aunt was too frightened to say anything, and unfortunately, she took that secret to the grave. So they never found out what actually happened. But the scenario terrified my aunt so much that she never told anybody what happened. But anyway, guys, that's my 3 stories, for the day, and it's all about Kennedy Steam Plant. If you guys want to check it out, you definitely can. I recommend it. There's a lot of weird stories surrounding that road. But yeah, that's what I've been through. All the stories are true. But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. So this is the first episode of Storytime with Evil. We're going to continue this. We're going to make this a weekly thing. We're going to try to go every Sunday, or possibly, we'll do Sunday, Saturday. We'll do something like that. But anyway, guys, if you want to hit me up personally, go follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/BigEvilGaming. If you guys, want to follow me around, be sure to hit up all the people on the sidebar. They're really cool people. T-Belly, Chris Levi 13, JLove81, Megadance 29, Slayer 768. There's a lot of cool people over there on that side, guys. Definitely go hit them up. Tell them Evil sent you. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head out. Hopefully you like this video because there is a hell of a lot more coming. Anyway, guys, keep it locked, keep it loaded, and always remember, guys, be noticed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.